Hello and welcome back to the channel. So we just got done fighting the first battle of Winchester, and after Banks's defeat he retreated up towards Williamsport and the Potomac River, while Jackson continued his march down the Shenandoah Valley to Harper's Ferry, where he demonstrated against that town, and I think he shot some cannons at the C&O Canal, but that was ultimately kind of unsuccessful. And Lincoln, seeing how far down the valley he was, decided to try to trap him there by ordering Fremont to Strasburg and McDowell to detach Shields and Ord to go to Front Royal, where they would prevent Jackson's retreat up the valley. But unfortunately, for the Union at least, Jackson was able to slip between the two Union formations on June 1st, and he went up the North Fork of the Shenandoah River through Woodstock, Mount Jackson, New Market, and by June 6th he was in Harrisonburg, which is where Turner Ashby was killed. And you can still go and see there's a little monument in Harrisonburg, but it's right in the middle of JMU's campus, so it's a little kind of awkward to go look at and film and take pictures of. But here's a generic picture I found on the internet of it. Anyway, by June 8th, Fremont had caught up to Jackson, and that's where we are with the Battle of Cross Keys. So the 15th Alabama skirmished with the Union forces around Union Church at Cross Keys, and then Ewell decided to defend Mill Creek, the Mill Creek line, and I went there on a very hot August day recently, and there's a couple of acres, I don't know, a couple hundred maybe acres of the battlefield still preserved and bought by the Shenandoah Valley National Battlefield Trust, I believe. And there's not much there. There's a few historic markers and a wormwood fence, I think. And I mean, obviously the heights over Mill Creek are still there, and it's still imposing. I can't imagine having to attack up it, and kind of silly to even try. But all the trees have grown back now, so you can't really see the field of fire that the Confederate artillery would have had during the battle. And Trimble's Woods, where he made his counterattack and massacred the 8th New York, quote unquote, the massacre of the 8th New York. That's part of it. I think you could still walk, but you have to park in basically somebody's driveway. And I don't know, I just didn't feel comfortable doing that or poking around. Maybe one day I will. But yeah, so that's where we're at with the Battle of Cross Keys. So I decided to go and bring it all back onto the table this time instead of playing on Vassal. So I hope you enjoy that. And without further ado, let's go ahead and see how the counters are set up for the Battle of Cross Keys. Alright, so welcome to turn 1. We're going to go ahead and get through the sequence of play. So the initiative for this scenario lies with Fremont in the first turn. So we're going to go to the activation efficiency determination, and we'll do the Confederates first. I just have them kind of pile up over here. I'm going to pick one, and it is 3 for the Confederates. And for the Union, we have 4. And so we now check out the division order. So Fremont is interesting because his corps, his 2 divisions, they can't move within 3 hexes of a Confederate infantry unit, and he has a limit on how many brigades can be under attack orders. So basically everybody's going to be under advance orders. The first turn he is allowed to put 1 unit into attack orders, or 1 brigade, but I don't see anybody who is close enough to be benefiting from an attack order. So we're just going to leave everybody in advance, and same thing with Ewell. Doesn't really need anybody being in attack orders. With Fremont, he has the first activation, so we're going to go ahead and choose, I think, Blanker's division first. We're going to move them down this road here, I think, kind of get into this area and try to hit Trimble's brigade from this direction, while Fremont brings his brigades in this kind of area, and hopefully we can just overwhelm the Confederate defenses. That's the plan, at least. We might try to bring at the 1200 hour, or on the first turn I should say, we get to bring reinforcements in from the Port Republic Road. We might bring them down the Kieseltown Road and try to come through Cross Keys and get on the flank of the Confederates. So we're going to go ahead and put our AMs in our little cup. So Ewell gets 4 because he's a +1. The Confederate cavalry get 3. Random event is 1. And the Union, Fremont's core chit says that he's 0. So we just get 4. Not that we could get above 4. Sorry, we're going to keep out one of Blanker's because he's going to be the first activation. And then all of Fremont's chits go in as well. So now we go ahead and activate Blanker's division, which is all the orange units. So we're going to move Stahel up this road as far as we can, but I mean, we can only come basically up to here because that's 3 hexes of the Confederate units. I'm going to try to play a little slower this time because I feel like I always rush things. And we also have, for Blanker's division, we have the reinforcements. So Colts comes in, and the only thing is with him, if we do come, we could still come down here, but he's a -1 on his brigade activation. So changing his orders might be hard, and he's going to be way out of command of Blanker if we do come down the Kieseltown Road. For some reason I thought he was with Fremont's division, but he's not, so that could change things. So I'm going to go ahead and move Stahel and Bolin, and then Blanker, of course, kind of into this area. But I'm going to try really hard not to move too quickly so that I have his whole division in line, ready to go. I don't want to go too far across Congress Creek, because if we start moving over here, it's just going to get bogged down. There's just too many woods and hills, so it's going to be like not moving very far. So we're going to try to stay within this kind of area, and then hopefully on the next turn we can get we can put Stahel maybe into attack. So yeah, I'm going to go ahead and pause it and bring you back when Blanker's division is moved. Alright, so this is the end of Blanker's first activation. Stahel and Bolin moved up the left flank, but they're all kind of strung out because of the woods. The 4th New York Cavalry pushed up as far as it could before it ran into the 3 hex limit. A couple of batteries here. I'm going to be able to do it. Testing my tweezer skills. So Battery I, the 1st New York, and 2nd New York. They tried firing at the Lynchburg artillery up here on Mill Creek Ridge, and both got rolled 5s, so they got low ammo markers, which is not what the Union wanted. However, Dilger, the hero, has moved up along the road, along the Port Republic Road, and taken an enfilade behind this little ridge, so he's thinking about maybe next turn he'll hop up here with his 12-pound howitzers. So that's Blanker's turn complete. Now we reach into the old AM cup and we pull one out, and it is going to be the Confederate cavalry. So the Confederate cavalry was kind of an easy activation because they didn't have much, but the 2nd Virginia dismounted here where they started, so they'll have their carbines facing up the road. Munford took the 6th Virginia up onto this ridge where he'll dismount the next turn, so he'll have his carbines covering this area. And then the eagle-eyed among you will notice that this is the 7th Virginia B counter. It's because I have lost the 2nd Virginia B counter that's supposed to go over here. I have the dismounted counter for the 2nd Virginia B, but I can't find the mounted counter. Don't think it will matter, but he's moved up on the Kieseltown Road where he'll probably dismount soon. Actually, you know what? He started down here. I might move him up to the Mill Creek. Let's move him up to Mill Creek where he can dismount and provide some fire into Cross Keys. Let's see how that works. So let's go ahead and pull the next chit. It is Confederate Cavalry again. This will be easy because all we're going to do is dismount the 2nd Virginia and dismount the 2nd Virginia over, or sorry, the 6th Virginia over here with Munford. And that will be that. So next chit. Ooh, okay, this one decided it wants to come out, and it's Ewell. So with Ewell, I think we might detach some skirmishers to get maybe in this area to cover our left flank. Maybe over here with Trimble to cover our right flank. So I'm going to have a think about it. I might also move these 2 artillery batteries maybe into this position, or maybe up to here, maybe even up to here. I don't know. I'm going to give a think about it. I'll bring you back to show you what it looks like when Ewell's moved. There's probably going to be some artillery fire, but I won't belabor the point with a whole bunch of die rolls. But all these artillery units are probably going to fire on the Union artillery. Maybe. Is it even worth it because there's going to be return fire? I don't know. I'm going to look at the odds and see what dice roll modifiers we have, and bring you back when Ewell's activation is complete. Alright, so I forgot to mention Colts' brigade came in on the Port Republic Road up here. They're under march movement, under advance order, so they're going to come and just join the rest of Blanker's division, I think. But I really don't imagine that they're going to be doing too much this battle. On Ewell's side, he did take one shot with the Baltimore batteries, 10-pound Parrott on Battery I, the 1st Ohio, but they whiffed. The Trimble's brigade, the 16th Mississippi, shifted 1 hex over to make room for the West Augusta battery. They have smooth bores and a 12-pound howitzer. So on this ridge, I think they'll be able to command pretty much all this area. The 21st Georgia and the 16th Mississippi shook out some skirmishers just to take pot shots at the Union as they advance, while the Hamden battery took up position on this little ridge line with their Parrott and smoothbore to cover up this road. We might move them maybe up to here or up to here later, or even up to here. Depends on where the Unions shake out, but we do have some good fire lines over here if they ever get up that far. So that's Ewell's activation complete. Not too much happening. So we'll go ahead and draw our next chit, which is going to be Ewell again. Don't know that we're gonna do too much here. Again, I'm trying not to be as impetuous as I usually am. Maybe let's just go ahead and move our skirmisher up to here. That way we can fire at them maybe up to here, actually, so we can fire as they come across this this area here. Yeah, the 13th Pennsylvania, I think they're the Buckskins, Buck something. Bucktails. They're the Bucktails. They have like the hats, the cool hats. Anyway, so
8th New York will be able to fire at them, but they won't be able to move closer unless they get the attack. Well, no, sorry, skirmishes don't count for that special rule, so they still can move forward. I don't think the artillery is still, the line of sight is blocked, I believe. So we can't fire into this area. We could take this shot, but I don't know, it's not even worth it. So yeah, that's Ewell's turn complete. It's unfortunate to get his chit out so early. We'd rather have had that come out later so that we could react to the Union, but so now we have Blanker again. And Blanker is just going to move Stahill and Bolin, and of course Colts. I'll probably move Colts first so I don't forget them. Up through this tree line. So I'll bring you back when they're done. Alright, so here's Blanker's division at the end of its movement. So 39th New York, I think, or maybe it was the 8th New York. One of them fired with their rifles on skirmishers. Missed. Skirmishers fired back, they missed. So everybody just kept moving up. Now, one thing I don't know is I'm pretty sure skirmishers or units, if they want to move in adjacent to skirmishers, they have to be under attack orders. I didn't find anything in the rulebook that said skirmishers are not, that rule doesn't apply to them. Now what doesn't apply is the special rule from the scenario that prevents Union infantry from moving within 3 hexes of Confederate infantry while under advance orders. That specifically says skirmishers are not included for those purposes. So we had no problem moving closer to the skirmishers. We just couldn't go within 1 hex of them as far as I can tell. I spent a good 10 minutes looking. So if anybody knows for sure, one way or the other, whether units under advance orders can advance adjacent to skirmishers or not, let me know. I'll give another look through the rule book, but I don't know for sure. So that's Blanker's activation completed. Now we go ahead and draw our next AM, which is another Ewell activation. So I don't know that Ewell has anything he really needs to do here. We don't have any good shots with our artillery because they're in defilade, or there's you might not be able to see it. Yeah, you can kind of see it. There's hills here, which means the canopy of trees prevents the West Augusta battery from firing over them into this area. So the only thing we could really do is fire our skirmishers, but it's no real reason to get return fire as far as I can tell. So they're doing a good job of just holding up the Union infantry. So we're just going to go ahead and pass on Ewell's turn and pull out our next AM, which is a random event. So we roll. It's a 1. I think it needed to be a 9 or a 0. Sorry, an 8 or 9 would have given us a random event, but it was a roll of a 1, so no random event. So we go back to our cup, and it is the Confederate cavalry. I'm pretty okay with how the cavalry is. Let me zoom out. So I'm pretty okay with how Munford is doing. We're all dismounted. We're behind the creek here. And if you remember, you get victory points if you kill cavalry SPs. So we don't really want to put our cavalry into too much danger here. So we're good there. Next AM, Fremont, his first activation. So what we're probably going to do is maybe move forward the guns to this ridge line right here. Or maybe we'll take some long shots. I think maybe the first turn, let's not get ahead of ourselves. First turn we're going to take some long shots with the artillery over here. And then we'll move up his infantry brigade. So I'll bring you back when that's all done. Okay, here we are at the end of Fremont's division's activation. So Shank moved his units up through these woods, but they're kind of getting spread out because of the woods. Clusert moved his units down, but again spread out because of the woods. He didn't really have too much anyway. He had 2 regiments of infantry, I think, and then a couple of batteries. So he didn't really have much going on there. But Milroy's weary boys moved onto this ridge, and because we moved the artillery up there first, they came and stacked in under them, and hopefully there's a couple of shots with the negative modifier. We only moved like 2 hexes, so we used the negative modifier for moving, and nothing happened in either direction. Everybody passed their cohesion checks. That's pretty much all it was. I just realized I moved him to 13th New York. I think he was here, but he's part of Blanker's division, not Fremont's division, so I think he was there. So that's Fremont's first activation complete. I'm really still trying to play it a little slow. No need to strike before the iron's hot. And it's not like we're really getting anywhere because Fremont can't make anybody move into attack orders. And we don't want to get fatigued, really. I mean, we have a couple of... we don't want to get fatigued now. We want to save the fatigue for when we get closer. So Fremont activates again. I think all we're going to do is clean up Shank's line, fire some cannons, and maybe clean up Klusert's line as well. So I'll bring you back when that's... Okay, here we are at the end of Fremont's division's activation. So Klusert and Schenk moved their brigades up, but the real action was with Milroy's artillery. So the 12th Ohio took a shot at, I think it was either the Rock Bridge or the 8th. I don't know who Star is. Anyway, so they missed, but then on the return fire, a 3-inch rifle caused the 12th Ohio to become disordered, and Milroy was able to keep the 5th West Virginia from disordering on the disorder check there. And that was really the only terrible disaster. And of course they got low ammo. So they got low ammo, and then on the return shot they got disordered. So that's Fremont's division's activation. It's the second activation. So I think Blinker and Fremont are going to be done for this turn, but we'll see when we pull the next chit, which is Fremont. So like I said, I think Fremont is going to be done because we activate again, we're going to get fatigued, and we can't really go anywhere. I mean, if we move again within 3 of Confederate infantry, we can only get up to about here. Then we're just going to be in the open with the artillery firing on us. So I think we're going to wait for the next turn so we can put Stahel into attack orders and continue to try to trade artillery and hopefully do something there. I think we might. So this is like the bad part about early Union organization is the 12th Ohio is brigaded with Milroy's brigade, I believe. Yeah, Milroy's brigade. So to move them, we have to activate Milroy's brigade, and that would incur fatigue. So I don't think we're going to do that. I think we're just going to keep everybody in place and draw the next AM. Next is Fremont again, and same thing. Kind of just keep it simple. Next is Blanker, and Blanker is also going to stay put. We don't want to activate again because then we're going to get fatigued. So now it's Ewell, Ewell did pass one turn, or one activation. I think this would still be his third activation for at least Trimble for sure. So I don't think we're going to activate anybody else. And of course the last AM is going to be Blanker, and he's not going to activate. So that's the first turn complete. Fremont has brought his line forward. Not as far out as I would have liked on the flanks, but I don't know how we're going to get closer without taking a boatload of casualties. I think attacking through these trees probably is our best bet. But first we're going to have to knock these skirmishers out of the way, and then we can figure out what to do with Milroy and Clusert and Schenk. Alright, so I'm going to cut this video here, and then I'll bring you back for turn 2, which is the 1300 hours turn. Taylor's brigade of Louisianians is going to come in through the Port Republic Road from the south down this way. I don't know which way Ewell is going to use them. He might just keep them in reserve around Trimble, so that they can deploy to either flank. But we'll see what happens in the next video. Bye for now.